My friend made me some cakes.
It's cake.
Yes, I'm terribly sorry, but they are quite lovely.
Are or were.
Yeah.
Not trifle then, Tom.
No, that was at the weekend.
Mhm.
I have a very soft spot for trifle.
More traditional with lots of sherry and stuff.
Oh, no, the alcohol doesn't matter. It just needs to be a trifle of some sort.
You're always inside trifles, dear. Tom, you love trifles. You do it all the time. Right, it is 8 o'clock. I'm going to start the meeting. Any apologies?
We don't have any, but I noticed that Juliet isn't here yet.
And neither is Anne or
No,
Margaret.
Anne is.
Anne is.
Oh, I did. Oh,
And
yes, I did.
Margaret.
Oh, I did. Oh, I got them.
Oh,
I got
no,
them.
Juliet. That's it.
Oh,
got
there's
them.
Juliet.
Right.
Full house.
First of all, on behalf of the committee, I'd like to welcome Matthew or Matt, who's taken over from Linda. I think Linda was definitely a hard act to follow, but from my initial conversations with Matt, I think he's probably going to be up to the mark. He's certainly into theatre, so that gives big ticks from me.
I'll do my
Right.
best.
Okay. Any declarations of interest? None. So the next bit is a result of the last S&R meeting, where the decision was made to put up a working or task and finish working group to review and establish how we should do the annual town electors meeting going forward, because it's clear that it hasn't worked for a very, very long time. And so this item 3 is to do with this. We are on a tight time scale. I did drop a note out giving all members of the committee a straw man for terms and reference. So at least it's something we can discuss. We need to define that. I would hope that we can define the members of the working party as well, because we have the process for adopting the new process, the new method of town electors meeting has to come back to us from the working party and then on to full council. And if we want to get to have this before, is it the 1st of June, Deborah?
Yeah, the last date that you can hold the town electors meeting or the parish meeting is the 1st of June. So it's between the 1st of March and the 1st of June inclusive.
Right. So that really puts very tight timescale on.
It does.
So if we can get the working party up and running today, we stand a fighting chance of hitting that deadline, which everybody's after. So first of all, my proposal appointing the members of the working party will require us to suspend standing orders, because it isn't on the standard proportionality, because if we did, then Labour would not have a place at the in the working party. So I thought the 2-1-1 would be a good split. So I'm going to propose that we suspend standing order 4F. I need someone to second that, please, and then we'll vote on it and move forward.
Yes, I'll second that.
Thank you, Philip. So all those in favour, please raise your hand. Okay, I think that's unanimous. Thank you very much. And then moving on.
Excuse me.
Okay, Councillor Nagra.
Yeah,
Yes.
I raised my hand for nearly 2 minutes before you read that motion. I don't know what went wrong. So can I speak now?
What, again, suspending the standing order?
Yes.
Okay, so you don't want
No,
to...
no, I don't have any concern with standing order.
So,
I wanted to speak before that. I raised my hand, but I don't know, you didn't check, something happened.
So, okay, so your point, well, we've just voted to suspend standing order with 4F, which is proportionality. Okay, so that means if we adopt what I'm suggesting, Labour will be on the working party.
Yeah, I want to discuss few points about that.
Right,
If you allow.
so can we just take it in steps, please, Councillor Nagra?
Okay.
Right, so can we look at 3B, and basically it's a straw man there, 211. Does anybody object? Sorry, I need to go back because I'm going to be picked up. On of you, 3A was unanimous, so therefore it's 0 against and 0 abstentions before somebody picks me up. So 3B, anyone object, or do you want to debate the 211 mix of the working party? If not, I would like to go straight to the vote of that, and then we'll open it up on what the working party is going to do. All those in favour, please show. Raise your hands.
Sorry, I can't raise my hand.
Okay, so Councillor Gilder is for. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. All those against? Can you,
I can't get rid of it now.
Kevin, can you take all the hands down, please? Right, now all those against the 211 split, please raise your hand. Nobody, and all those abstaining, please raise your hand. Okay, so that's carried. It will be a 2-1-1 split. If we can now move on to the substance of what that committee is going to do, what's the objective? I have sent around, or Deborah on my behalf, sent around a straw man to at least start the discussion. Who would like to speak on my straw man, modify it, change it, amend it, etc.? Please, can you put your hands up if you want to? Okay, Councillor McCann, just give me 2 seconds, Councillor McCann. Anybody else? And Councillor Nagra. Okay, so Councillor McCann followed by Councillor Nagra, please.
Yeah, could somebody just confirm when this was circulated, your outline description of their possible functions? Because I've been looking through my emails and I can't seem to find it.
1st of March 2021, 12:04 from Deborah.
1st of March. Okay, that's all. So just so I can pull it up so I can see what
Yeah,
it's 1st
good.
March.
Councillor Nagra, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you. So can I raise those points now? Or
Yes,
should I
please.
wait when you go to B?
No, we
Agenda
passed
item
B.
B.
We voted for B already.
Yes.
So now we're on
So-
my straw man. So what we're discussing now is what that working party is specifically going to do, what its objectives are, and what the end point is.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
sure you have something to say.
No, I wanted to discuss before that, but I raised my hand, but I don't know you checked it or not. So I can't say, should I say it now or should I wait? When you ask for name of members.
So are you saying you disagree with 2 Conservatives, 1 Liberal Democrat and 1 Labour? Yes or no?
Yeah, my point is related to that.
So do you disagree with that?
Yes.
Right.
So can I speak why I disagree?
Well, okay. I will. Normally I wouldn't because we made the vote.
No, I raised my hand before that, but
Okay,
I don't know.
right. Okay, right.
Yeah. So I received your email yesterday and it was forwarded by Deborah. And in that email, you have written, in order to make this non-political, I am proposing not to use the normal group-based allocation. And then in the end, you have written, I really hope that this will be one instance where all political groups can put their politics aside. So I just want to remind everyone that this is not first time. There were 2 examples in the past where we could put politics behind, but
Councillor Nagra, that
Yes.
is not relevant to this particular agenda item. Have you got something specifically about the 2-1-1? You said you disagree with that split.
Yes,
The
I
211.
disagree. So very
What-
briefly,
what do you
yeah,
think-
very
what do you
briefly,
think it should be?
very briefly, I want to say that it happened in the past. You
But
gave,
that's sorry, Councillor Nagra, I've stopped you now. This is the second time. That is not relevant to this
No, I'm
agenda
giving-
item.
yeah,
It's not relevant to this agenda item. You have said you do not like 2 Conservatives, 1 Liberal Democrat and 1 Labour. What is your proposal for the split? Don't
My
go on
pro-
about, we're going to talk about my email later, but please don't go on about that. You know,
okay, when you are ready to talk about your email, then I will discuss this.
so you now are saying you are okay with 2 Conservatives, 1.
No, I'm
Liberal
saying
Democrat.
when you are ready to discuss your email, then I will raise my points. I have said this.
Okay, so I'm asking you a simple question. Do you support 2 Conservatives, 1 Liberal Democrat and 1 Labour?
No,
Yes, you
No.
don't.
no.
So what is your proposal for the split? It
I'm
shouldn't-
trying to explain. You're not allowing me.
Well, is it 2-1-2? Is it 3-1-1? Is it 4-0-0? What is the numbers of Conservative?
I'm saying something else if you give me permission
Okay.
to speak.
Well,
Yeah,
okay,
what I
well,
am
we're going
saying.
to move on. We're going to move on.
Okay.
I've tried several times. So now, the straw man. You want to talk about the email, and please keep it to the email and not talk about history. You know, this is an extra meeting. We would like to conduct the businesses as quickly as possible if we can. Now speak.
Can I speak?
Yes, I just said now speak.
Thank you. So I will not discuss history. Very briefly, I will say that both Lib Dem groups and Labour group, before even formation of Labour group, Councillor Nada and Lib Dem group, we have some bitter experience of suspending this order. So I don't want any favor. If Labour group is given any committee membership, any working party membership, it should be according to standing orders and not suspending these standing orders, because duration of this suspending order is very limited. Someone can change his mind anytime and can kick out anyone anytime. So I refuse to accept this favor.
Okay, it's too late. It's been already voted on.
Yeah, no, I am not
So
giving.
can I speak?
Yes.
I tell you why.
No,
Unfortunately,
I raised my
unfortunately it's been
hand before
voted.
that.
Please.
No,
It's
I'm
been
just saying
voted
that
on. Please.
I raised my hand
please,
before voting.
Excuse me, Councillor Nagra, I am
Yes.
speaking.
Okay.
If you disagree with that split, your option is not to attend the meeting. Okay, so that could register your
Yes.
right. So the expectation is there won't be a Labour member on this task and finish working group, which is absolutely your right. And I've made a note of your comments about suspending standing orders on proportionality, and I will give you my word. I will give you my word, and it can be documented, that I will never ever do it again to allow a Labour member to take up a position that they're not entitled
Yeah,
to.
thank you very
Okay?
much. Thank you.
Okay, now, having got that out of the way,
Councillor Rowland has a hand up, Chair.
sorry, Councillor Rowland, Beth.
Yeah, thank you, Keith. I'd just like to point out that Councillor Nagra does not speak for the Lib Dem group. He may speak for the Labour group, but he doesn't speak for the Lib Dem group.
Thank you, duly noted. I didn't think that, and I think it was a misuse of words. Right, so now the email. I gave 4 potential bullet points that could be the terms of reference, and I would like us, if we can, to focus on that rather than history, etc. And as I said, it's a straw man for us to discuss, not to necessarily adopt. So the first thing, to review the historical structure of the annual town electors meeting. The second one, to explore alternative structures for any future meeting. The third one is to make a recommendation to us, its parent committee, about how that structure should be. And then the final one, because it is a task and finish working group, and we have tight timetables, to complete the work in a timely fashion. to allow our formal democratic process to follow. Has anybody got any alternative ideas, any nuances there? Because if you haven't, I'm going to suggest we move to a vote on those 4 points. Councillor Brindley, yeah, I see you've got your hand up.
Hi. Would it be a good idea, as well as councillors, to involve a member of the public? I know it's a long shot, but somebody who has got I don't know. I mean, if we're going to engage with the public to attend this meeting, potentially, I don't want to go down the route of having to get a poll or anything like that, but I don't know, just a suggestion.
Can I ask?
We're talking about it all day and all night, but if we're not going to attract the people we want to attract.
So can I ask, it's an interesting idea. I'm not sure whether our current timescales will allow it, but
No.
Deborah, can you comment on the practicalities of trying to get someone else to join the committee?
Yeah, I think it would be quite difficult because you'd need to try and find somebody perhaps who didn't know that much about the town council. I'm not sure we've got time because where are we now? 2nd of March. So by the middle of April, we need to have everything done and dusted about how we're going to approach it. So I'm just thinking perhaps for this time, but it might be a good idea at the town electors meeting, perhaps to invite people who may be interested to meet with us as we prepare for next year's or something like that. You know, that might be a good idea, and they could give us some feedback and some ideas of perhaps some of the groups we don't know about who might be interested in coming or being part of what we look at, and speakers even as well from different organisations in Woodley, especially following the pandemic, hopefully following the pandemic, that we could get people to talk about what they did and how many people were involved, because I think in Woodley it's been particularly impressive, the kind of work that's been done. So I just don't know, Shadi, where I would find somebody, or you would, who could we find?
It was a long shot. I mean, it's just would be nice to get an opinion other than councillors, but I understand it's probably not going to be it's going to be a bit tight this time.
Well, I wonder if one of the things that we do then at the town electors this year is ask people if they would be willing to join with us to think about how we can provide an interesting event instead of one that, quite frankly, we just read out what we've done during the year and not very many people come.
Yeah.
We have had more in times gone past, but not recently. Perhaps we could ask them to be part of the planning for the next one, because there could be some speakers who people might be really interested in hearing from about Woodley, about walks in Woodley, or, various things. That might be quite interesting.
That could be encapsulated within the terms of reference of the Task and Finish working group.
Yeah.
Something for the future. I like the idea of somehow engaging. At the end of the day, we're doing it for residents, and if residents don't see it as any value, we are all of us failing, Councillor McCann, you had your hand up next.
Yeah, thank you. I'm quite happy with the idea of going out to ask the public to get involved. That seems perfectly reasonable. I do understand the timescales involved, but that doesn't stop us as a town council putting on our web pages that we would be looking for ideas. And if people could forward those ideas before our next meetings, we could at least have a list of things that the public might be interested. So that's almost like getting things started down that road. That would seem not unreasonable. It would, of course, mean not a lot of work in putting the request out there. It may be a little bit more work on gathering and presenting them those ideas. So I'd be quite happy for the town to do that. And I think that would be a pretty straightforward way to start this process. But could I just clarify something you said a minute ago? As the chair, you called it a town electorates working group. Is it a group or is it a party? Or was that just a slip of the tongue as such?
I think it's working party. That's what I think it is.
Yeah.
And I think that's in the agenda as
it's
well.
a specific, Councillor McCann, it's a specific type of working party called Task and Finish. No,
I know what it is. I just want to clarify. It is actually a working group because the standing orders apply to the group, to a party, sorry, not to a group. It's a different terminology. Thank you very much.
Okay, Councillor Rowland.
I just wanted to go one step further than that and wonder if it could be part of the household consultation that we do. I don't know whether it's due next year, but that gives us a chance to put out some questions, excuse me, to residents to find out what they know about the council. And well, perhaps better not to ask if they care, but
I think it's another good idea that needs to be fed into the Task and Finish working group. You know, these are all good ideas, and it'll help the people who are on that working group to not just have to think of themselves. I think it's great. Is there any other, Councillor Anderson? I see your hands up.
Yes, thanks. I think we just need to be clear of the objectives. You know, why are we running this? And I think that's part of the T's and C's of it, isn't it? You know, it's great to talk about what we might do next year, but actually, what is the purpose? What is the aim? We've got a time frame. So, you know, if we stick to that and we're very clear, I'm sure we can deliver something half decent this year.
Okay, Councillor Chadwick. Thank you, Juliet.
Okay. Yes, I just wanted to say, I mean, it's going to be virtual, isn't it? And I was just thinking, yes. Can we find ways to increase how we advertise the because I presume it'll be on YouTube at the time, I suppose, wouldn't it? And I just wondered if we can sort of find ways of increasing the advertising of the link, or the fact that people can listen on the evening. You know,
I think we could probably
or something.
I think we could probably get a lot of people with the Facebook page that we've got with the Park Leisure Centre, and on social media, other social media as well, that Anushka looks after.
They don't have to be virtual though. They can take part in the meeting on Zoom.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, are you saying that the links would be advertised on Woodley Town Council web pages? They wouldn't, not any further.
No, they'd go on. We've got about over 1,000 people on 1,500 people, I think, on Facebook connected with the Woodford Park Leisure Centre, and Anushka also puts tweets out and things like that on social media. So we do cover quite a lot of people, I think.
Anushka does advertise all our meetings on the 4 Woodley Facebook groups as well, so it gets good coverage. Councillor Wicks.
I'm just thinking, I mean, we're talking here about getting members of the public involved. Maybe we should look at some of the local businesses as well and see how they've been affected and what they can do to support the council.
Okay, so another one for the working group to consider. Lots of ideas which are really, really good. Right, so it looks as though we have an approval for the four items that I suggested, plus one about involving the general public in some form for the future. On that basis, can I have a show of hands for approval for that terms of reference? And Matthew then will work up, you know, more formal terms of reference, which we circulated to all of us. All those in favour, please show. Okay, Kay, are you voting for? I can't see your hand, and I can't see you. Okay. Yep.
Councillor Gilder.
You're muted. You're muted, Kay. If you want to vote, please unmute and tell us what your vote is. Or just wave your hand. just wave your hand.
A thumbs
If it's-
up will do. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. That's unanimous. Thank you very much. I would also, if possible, can you lower the hands, please? If possible, to actually populate the 3 slots that it is now. Do the Liberal Democrat group have someone in mind to be their nomination? Tom or Beth, is there anybody from your group?
Richard Skegg.
Yeah.
Oh, good, good. Okay. From my side, it's Councillor Brinley, sorry, Bradley. And I wonder, I haven't asked you before, but Juliet, I know you're very, very, very busy in your day job, but you've got so much experience on the Carnival Committee. I wonder if you would be prepared to be the other Conservative member of this working group.
Yeah, I'm happy to.
Oh,
Yeah.
brilliant, brilliant. Okay, so that's it. It's Richard, Juliet, and Shardy. Deborah, if you can work your magic and get those 3 together, because we really need to do it like yesterday. And can I thank every one of you on the call today for your participation. It's been really good. And I look forward to seeing what comes out of it. So now I need to move on to item 4, and I need to read this out. I'm proposing this. I will need a seconder to resolve that in view of the confidential.
Yeah, point of order.
What's the standing order you're referencing?
I'm referring section order 14A, page 15, subsection G.
Right. Point of order, please go.
According to which rule you are proposing this motion?
Which tool, sorry?
Which rule, which standing order?
It's, here we go.
Councillor Nagra, we've had a conversation by email about this, and the chairman, as I explained to you, manages the meeting and therefore can propose that motion that's set out in the agenda for the meeting to agree.
I'm just asking according to which rule this motion is being presented. I'm not asking chairman is doing this or not. I'm just asking according to which rule, according to which standing order. Is it 5B or not?
Yes.
If it's 5B, where it is written in 5B that the chairman can propose this?
Councillor Nagra, we've corresponded by email, and I have explained to you the role of the chairman of the meeting, who conducts the meeting and proposes the items on the agenda for the meeting to discuss.
In that email, you have clearly written, I can show you that chairman has no explicit permission. Sorry, I'm speaking.
No,
don't interrupt me. Don't interrupt me.
I will interrupt you because you have asked the question. You've had an email conversation with the town clerk.
I'm just saying.
You have asked the question twice. You've had the same answer twice. I think that we need to move on. I think you've had that conversation with the town clerk. She's answered you in the email. She's answered you twice tonight. We need to go on and make business. So to resolve, I'll start again.
Point of order, Chairman. Point of order, Chairman.
Councillor McCann, yep.
Yeah, using the same standing order as our Labour colleague, while you may, as a member of the committee, propose a motion, it has to be seconded, and it is a debatable, excuse me, Chair, I haven't finished. It should be debated. There is nothing in the rules that say this motion can be put straight to the vote. If members wish to discuss it, they are entitled to. If they're not entitled to, I'll invite you or the clerk to highlight where in standing orders it says that any motion brought before a committee cannot be discussed before it is voted on.
I was about to do that, Councillor McCann.
Thank you
didn't
very
allow
much.
me the chance to do the proposal and seconded. Right. For the fourth time, to resolve that in view of the confidential nature of the business about to be transacted in relation to legal matters, that is the item that is being used to exclude public and press, it is advisable in the public interest that the public and press are temporarily excluded and they are asked to withdraw for item 5 on the agenda. I propose that. Have I got a seconder, please? Thank you, Councillor Brindley. Right. So we now go into a debate. Those who wish to speak, Councillor McCann, please speak.
Thank you. Thank you. While I agree that most, or not most, but at least some of this information is confidential for contractual reasons, I don't accept that the fact that the council has entered into or got itself into this position should be a confidential issue, nor should be who the contractors are, nor should be the outcome of this decision. It should not be, because we are discussing public money. While I agree the details may well be covered, the background information shouldn't. The options perhaps may be, but I certainly think the stroke of a pen to say everything under this exclusion on item number 5 is all confidential is clearly fundamentally wrong. This is public money. It is how this council works and how this council is perceived to work. It is very difficult for members of the opposition to get detailed access to how the council operates in time for meetings which are sometimes sprung upon them for legitimate reasons, perhaps, but sometimes sprung upon them. It is extremely difficult for the Labour member who clearly is trying to highlight technical issues to constantly be interrupted while he and or she is trying to make technical points on agendas. It makes it difficult for the public to understand why things are, why they're being excluded if they can't even see what the item is on the agenda, let alone any background information, context. And I'd just like to express my concerns that we sometimes run down this road too quickly. And perhaps the council needs to review its process for assessing which part of an agenda item is actually confidential, as opposed to the whole entire item is confidential. I'll give you an example. Clearly, the name of the contractor is not confidential.
Okay.
Clearly, the amount of money spent on that contract is not confidential.
You have a minute left, Councillor McCann.
Thank you. Clearly, the fact that the council has concerns about the fulfilment of a public contract should not be confidential. The nature of what that concern is may well be. And it then brings me to my final point. Will this information, after it has been agreed or not agreed or moved forward in whichever form it takes, will all the relevant information which has been the public have been excluded for, will that information then be put in the public arena? And are members of the public then entitled to ask questions on this subject? And in fact, how we got here type of questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor McCann. I'm not going to respond only in the sense that it is the officers, the town clerk and her team, who make the decision about whether something is confidential or not. It's not councillors, it's their officers. So, excuse me, it is officers who make that recommendation. They are the professionals, they're paid to do this. I couldn't tell you the official interpretation of what is confidential or not. You may, but I can't. I'm not qualified to do that. That is why the councils are all shades have always relied on the town clerk and their team to make those recommendations. So thank you for that contribution. I can't see any other hands up at all. Nope. Right. I'm going to move straight to the vote. All those in favour, please raise your hands of excluding the public and press.
Sorry, Keith, what's he voting for?
For item 4. We're voting for the exclusion of public and press. Thank you. Who aren't here.
Sorry.
All right. Okay. Can you lower your hands, please? All those against, please show. I've got 1, 2. I think that's okay. And then any abstentions, please. Right, no extensions. That was passed. So there is 1 attendee I see, which is our friend Michael. Michael, I think if you're listening, I need to see you leave.
Yeah, I'm about to action.